Good morning, everybody. It's me, Mitch. It's earlier. It's 8:30. Got to get used to a new time, but we're here. We're here Tuesday morning after quite a holiday weekend. Hope everybody had a good time. Welcome to Morning Coffee with Mitch. And as usual, my friends, drink it if you got it. God, that's good. That's good. Well, good to see everybody this morning. I hope you're bright-eyed and bushy-tailed like me. Been up for a couple hours already. Well, more than that. Been up since about 5:30. I like this better. For me, it means I don't have to wait around quite as long to do it. By the time I got to it, it was almost like afternoon coffee with Mitch. So I know there are going to be some people who, especially out in the West Coast, this means you got to get up a little earlier, but I asked everybody, and it was about, well, very well weighted. Didn't do a statistical analysis, but it was kind of weighted towards the 8:30 was better. So there's always the replay, and we'll see what happens. I started it out at 8:30 when I first started doing this, and then one day a week, I think it was Wednesday, we started late. That was very confusing. It was more confusing for me because I had to, when I made up the graphic for it, I had to remember that it was 9:30 on Wednesday and not 8:30. So I made a few mistakes in putting in the title, but all that's in the past. So now we're doing it 4 mornings a week, 8:30, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, I think. And speaking of Sunday, everybody really enjoyed Lewis's visit with me on Sunday. Had good attendance. And I had asked if anybody, just let me know if you want to come on. And I don't know if this is Lewis's partner in crime or just good friends, but Thomas, Target Prime Rib, emailed me and said he would love to come on. So we've got Thomas scheduled for this Sunday coming up. It'll be at 8:30. And I've heard Thomas being interviewed. I remember the one on Kiltz's channel. What a story he's got. What a story he's got. So come visit with us on Sunday. Make Thomas feel welcome. And maybe I'll be able to ask Thomas some questions and get some insight about his journey that other, I hate to call them interviewers because I don't consider myself an interviewer. And this is not really an interview. When I have guests on this show, it's just having a buddy or a lady over for coffee. And speaking of ladies, how about it, girls? Come on, get brave, somebody. I'd like to sit down and have a nice chat with some of you who I know from name only. From name only. I don't have a lot of show notes this morning. I would be remiss if I didn't beg. I mean, what kind of stream would it be if I didn't beg? So I'll put my Buy Me a Coffee link in the chat, and always appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Really not a whole lot to talk about this morning, so we'll just been a long weekend. I turned on the morning crime report, the morning news this morning, and that's what it was. One, murder, break-in, bar fight, carjacking, just one after another. In fact, I'm trying to think, in the brief time that I watched it, if I heard anything other than a crime report. It's getting unbearable between the commercials for the drugs and the lawyers and the news. I don't know. I think I'm going to regress back to my infancy. I think I'm going to find a cartoon channel and watch cartoons in the morning. Although, if I remember the old cartoons I used to watch, like Roadrunner, Elmer Fudd, there was an incredible amount of violence. I mean, people were always getting blown up, squished with huge mallets, big hammers. So maybe we've been programmed from a very young age that that's normal. With the decreasing mental acuity of the human race, being able to separate fantasy and entertainment from reality is diminishing. I think that's a big part of our problem. Well, YouTube treated me okay today. YouTube did not cut off the old part of the chat. And first in yesterday was Tanya. And she knew she was first. And she said first. Hiya, Tanya. You came in at 5:07 p.m. yesterday afternoon. How about that? Lori chimed in there after, and so did Smoothie 420. Tristan chimed in. Did have a nice Memorial Day. Didn't do anything out of the usual. Thank you, Tristan. Jiffy says she'll be here in the AM. Yeah, I hope we all thought about some of the people that we miss. Wayne Herman, CO at 8:30 in the morning. Mike Sealy, can always count on Michael. Sealy from Tampa Bay was last night at 11:15. Lady June chimed in first thing in the morning for her in the UK. Charger Mopar. Rick, first good morning after midnight. Do the ducks sleep at night, Rick? Or are they nocturnal? Devitt was here, says, and Devitt was here at 3:50 a.m. Of course, he's on the West Coast, so that would be just after midnight for him. Not sure if he can make the 5:30 a.m. West Coast time. I hope so. Well, I might be busy doing something else today. And Steve Rogers, Captain America, chimed in at what time? 5 o'clock in the morning from Kansas City, Missouri. How you doing, Steve? Good to see you. Nikki W is here. Mandy Beto says hi, Mitch, and it's 6:06. Cliff Medina chimed in. 7:30, Wayne Herman from Lake Ashland, North Carolina. I said hello here before 8. Because I've been up. Mike Shelley Sr. from here in Melbourne chimed in. How you doing? Nomadi Event. I have to remember that the bell is 8:30 today, lest I not forget. I had just gotten used to stopping with the 8:30 business and saying 9:30. Now I got to go back the other way. Don't you hate it when that happens? But we did make it today. Good morning, my friend. How you doing? Good to see you. And our guest for this Sunday, Target Prime Rib, Thomas. Glad to see you here. Furrow Grandma came in at 8:30. Tammy Batarch is here. Says good morning to all of Mitch Fitz. And Sandy Blythe says, good morning, sir, Mitch. Thank you. Thank you. Terry Sue's with us. How you doing, Terry Sue? Today we are meat loafers. Meat loafers. Is that a shoe? Or are you saying that we're lazy? That's an interesting concept. If we can make a meatloaf shaped like a shoe and wear it, and then we would always have food with us for the time. So those cravings cannot be ignored. Rick chimed in, charge a Mopar 10 minutes to quack time. Yes, yes. And Francine Bourgeois, good morning, Mitch, and all the secondhand vegans from sunny Montreal. Yes, we are. We are all secondhand vegans. I'm using my, if at first you don't succeed, try doing what Mitch told you to do the first time. Cup, sent to me by Robert. And the first thing I got at the post office when I finally got home and regained the ability to drive my car. So that cup has a certain significance to me. It marks what I said at the time was a banner day for me. The first trip driving my car was to the post office because Robert sent me this thing where I got the notice that it had arrived the day it came, the day of my stroke. Sat in the post office for over 2 months waiting for me to pick it up. So a lot of nostalgia tied to this cup. Terry Sue says 5:30 a.m. is better for me. Summer hours. She likes it. Well, we got 89 people so far. Little not piling in as fast, but building. And usually about a half hour into the stream is when I can look at the number and see if it's doing well or not, because sometimes it builds slower. I think back and I watched the replay of the first live stream that I did after my stroke. It was only 1 month after the stroke. I was so proud of myself I got home. Evidently, I picked up a lot of new subscribers from all those stroke videos that I put up the first month. So I had over 400 people in that first live stream. I know I talked about this, but I don't, maybe someday, maybe if I get a little more original each day, maybe I should have the joke of the day or something. It'll get back up to that. But it's settled back down to the attendance that it was over the long haul since I started doing this. But that's okay. We are the Mitch Fits, after all. Terry Sue likes the hours. And Tanya is back. Hiya, Tanya. I've been up since 6:30 a.m. waiting for you, Mitch. Tanya, we're glad you're here. And 8:25, Aaron Booby Goats. It's me, Aaron. Have I started something with the it's me, Mitch? Do you guys, when you meet somebody new, say, hi, it's me? That'd be cool. Senator McDonald from Down Under says, good evening. Good evening. Claudia Burkick says, good morning all. Terry Sue is back at 8:27. And again at 8:28, not taking any chances. Furrow Grandma, 8:29. Check it in. And at 8:29, we have Sharon McCabe says, good morning. Terry Sue again, here we go. Sharon McCabe again, here we go. Rick is here. And yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is Lewis. Good morning, Lewis. Lewis is the winner of the horse race this morning. Congratulations. Perfect timing. You've won. Really enjoyed having you on Sunday. It was a great time. I really enjoyed that. We could have gone all day, I think. I'd have finally put a stop to it. Terry Sue says, yay, Tina Schweigerath is here at 8:30 for Grandma Rick again. Marla Kelly, hiya, Marla, how are you? And the Andy Carnivore got in at 8:30. Lori did again. Wow. And the first of the 8:30 ones is Louise Floret. Good morning, Louise. Let me remind you that if you want to ask me a question, steer the topic of the conversation, something you think I would really get a kick out of, put QQQ or 4 or 5 or 6 capitals in front of it, and more than likely I'll notice. In fact, as I look to the left over here and I see the chat going by, I know it's on the right of your screen, but for me, it's on the left of the window. With this, John Bassett says, question, Mitch, what are your thoughts or laughs on the sugar diet? I honest to God, I haven't decided if it's a hoax or somebody's just busting on us, or indeed it's really serious. My daughter is at Disney. Let me and send me a text. I don't know if she wants me to share this picture or not, so I won't. She's at Disney standing next to some huge cartoon character that's bigger than she is, and she's got a picture of this character on her T-shirt. That's funny. Let me just say, I'm live streaming, comma, can I show this picture to everybody? Question mark. All right. We'll see if she says yes or no. Oh, yeah. And we'll wait for the reply. We'll wait for the reply. Come on. She's thinking it over. Oh, she says, sure. Okay. Here it is. This is the picture of my daughter. Oh, hope you can see it. Oh, God. It's a problem with no, you really can't see it. This camera does not do good showing cell phone pictures. What I will do is I will show it to you all tomorrow. I will email it to myself, get it in the computer, and show it to you right from the computer screen. But it was a good try anyway. All righty. I have children who don't know how to stay home. Neither of them. My son is always off doing something. My daughter's, the holiday week was just ended, and she texted me yesterday. They love Disney, and they have some friends that live near Disney in some huge house somewhere, and they go over maybe once a month, and they don't have to have a hotel or anything. So they go to Disney a lot, but I'm surprised that she's going this week. I have to live vicariously through my children when it comes to all this traveling these days, but that's okay. I've done more than my share. Been there, done that. Who's this? Barry Simon. Hey, Barry, how are you, man? Good to see you. And let's see who we got. I haven't said hi to yet. Mary M. said this is a good time. Hey, a good time is had by all. Oh, you don't mean that kind of good time. Mark C is with us. Oh, we're texting again. I wonder if she's watching this on a cell phone. He likes earlier too. Glad to hear that. And Thomas Lewis is great. Yep, Thomas, he is. He set the bar actually for Sunday. Set the bar. We're not going to hold anybody to that though. And Rick says that Top Quack is always available to come in. So let's do this right now. To save me a lot of emailing. Rick, would you like to come in and be the guest? Not this coming Sunday, but the Sunday after that. Just email me and let me know. That would be great. That'd be great. Never a dull moment with you. You're one of the few guys I know to whom a 5-hour live stream is too short. And Rick says, I will do it. Oh, good. Paying attention. Okay, Rick. Unlike so many of these people who uses an app called Calendly, I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but if you're a YouTuber, you get invites from everybody all the time to be on their podcast, especially guys like Dave Mack, who that's what he does. And they give you the link and they tell you, go to Calendly and pick a time. Well, I got an email a few days ago from Alia, from Kilt's channel. And Alia says, Mitch, Dr. Kiltz would love to have you on as the guest for one of his Kilt's Mighty Tribe Zoom calls. The first we have available is September. For somebody who takes their life like one day or maybe 1 week at a time, trying to see if I'll be available in September is a great unknown for me, but I'm assuming I will. And there was the Calendly link, and I went to it, and it said I had to go through the calendars. We have no time available in May. We have no time available in June, July, August. Up comes September. There were 3 times. One of them was on the 1st, September 1st, at I think it was 5:30. I'll take it. So I went ahead and signed up for that. It immediately it sent me a Gmail. I immediately put it into my calendar and all kinds of, I'm sure I'll get, like the dentist's office, 35 reminders about that. So don't hold your breath, my friends. Or as I like to say, don't place your hand on your ass while you're waiting because it'll grow there. I'll be with Kiltz on September 1st. I started this because I haven't graduated to the point now where I need Calendly. But if it gets any more, I might have to make an account. It's free, but I don't do that many of you. But we now have Thomas lined up for this Sunday and Rick and the Ducks for the Sunday after. Isn't that great? This is easy. Come on, the rest of it. Just let's get them lined up. So I need that Calendly app. I'd love to see myself booked out to September. What skills got that I haven't got? Come on, other than a jet plane and things like that. I shouldn't ask that question. And Tanya says that Thomas is great. Yeah, Thomas is a cool guy. I like him. We have a bearded Thomas and a non-bearded Thomas. We'll see who shows up on Sunday. Thomas says, thank you. And he says, thank you, Tanya. Who else do we have here? Northwood Trains. Hi, Northwood Trains. Good morning, Mitch. Good to see you and all. Now watching from northern Wisconsin. Well, at least it isn't cold this time of year. You're probably more temperate than we are down here in Florida. Let's see. I've climbed all the way to 834 in the shed. Got past the flurry of everybody here at login time. Rick LaBoy says, good morning, Mitch. I got the Carnivore glow going on, looking great. Oh, that's you got. Oh, I'm not wearing my reading glasses. I like these glasses better. They look better. They're a little more comfortable, but the prescription is more for distance than this computer screen, and sometimes the letters get a little fuzzy. These computer glasses are bigger and all that, but they're more reflective than these. And a lot of times you see these lights more in them, but when I normally put my head down, you don't see them with this, and that's why I wear this. You wonder why I wear the hat? It's kind of a thing that I do on the morning coffee live streams. I really don't. When I make a video, I don't use it, but primarily to keep those lights out of my glasses so you don't have to look at the reflection of them. Got to light this pretty face. Very important. Carnivorous is here. Good morning. I better start speeding up here. Patty Molden checked in. Ruby Goat says, you forgot Sundays are my shopping days. That's why they have cell phones. Just make sure you don't bump into other people. Rick, and who else? Barbara. Barbara J.S., good morning to you too. And Bermuda Guy is here. How you doing, Bermuda Guy? Popeye the Sailor Man and Spanish. What does that mean? Olive oil. Olive oil is his girl, is his girlfriend. I remember. I never liked Popeye. I just thought it was stupid. And then Robin Williams went ahead and made a movie where he played Popeye. And that was even more stupid. Robin Williams was an incredibly talented man, and made some great films. But sometimes he did some really stupid things. Lad is here. How you doing, Lad? How are you? And Claudia Burkick, Acme Roadrunner. And I was talking about cartoons. That's right. Wile E. Coyote. That's it. And the Acme Company. Remember Acme? You get a package and it said Acme on it. It was always something bad that exploded. Those were the good old days. John Bassett's here, says good morning. And we also have Sue, Smokey Bear Lover. Good morning, Sue. How are you? Richard Williams from Copper Hill, Tennessee is here. Peter's out of bed early. How you doing, Peter? I forgot the time change to 8:30. Well, you're probably not the only one, Peter. The good news is I didn't forget it. Wouldn't it be terrible if I showed up at 9:30 saying, rubbing my eyes saying, sorry, guys, I forgot. Lisa Woodall's here. Hiya, Lisa. I'm new here for the live. It would be Lissa. Correct me if I'm pronouncing it wrong, but it would, with two S's, following convention of the English language, that would be pronounced Lissa. Or your mother named you and was just being cute and called you Lisa nonetheless. Let us know. Michael Pregler's chimed in. Hiya, Michael. How are you? And Brian Dish, fly fisherman. Good morning, everyone. Remember, you are what you eat. Eat meat. And my corollary to that, I always repeat, eat what you are. I think that makes more sense. Eat what you're made of. You're not a plant. I can't get that through their heads. Sandy Blythe, hiya, Sandy. How you doing? Wow, look at this name. S-U Sus. What? Suke Hanadana. Wow. Tell us how to pronounce that phonetically. New follower here. Brought the meat thermometer. You bought the meat thermometer. It's fantastic. Oh, the meter. Yeah. That thing is great. Welcome. And let's get back to the question here. John Bassett said, Mitch, what are your thoughts or laughs on the sugar diet? Um, I still, I think we're being trolled with that. I haven't watched any of the videos from the proponents of the sugar diet. I've ignored it. I did watch Ken Berry's little sarcastic take on the sugar diet, where he seemingly extolled the virtues of it while interjecting the way it was killing you all along. That was okay. That was okay. People who knew Ken Berry knew it was sarcasm. People who didn't know Ken Berry may have tried to figure out what the hell is he for real, or is he pranking us? The only other video that I watched with sugar diet on it was from Lee Copus, Carnivore, and it was almost just a short. And Priddle intimated that nobody's taking it seriously. We're all being pranked. I tend to agree with him. But I'm sure, as with anything else, members of the Flat Earth Society, UFO followers, those who are certain we've never landed on the moon, and it was all staged in a big hangar in Arizona. People who think that are certain that men and humans were alive alongside of dinosaurs and every other wacko, provably false claim will probably believe in the sugar diet. Do I want to believe that the sugar diet works? This is where addiction comes in. Hell yes. Wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be great if we could be the healthiest we could be? Doing nothing and picking out all day on ice cream, pasta, cake, cookies, snacks. Wouldn't it be great? And if we finally found out that seed oils make sugar even healthier, it'd even be better. We could walk around with gigantic bags of Doritos and Cheez-Its. Who doesn't want to do that? So it stands to reason that coming up with this sugar diet thing would be the easiest way to track and to attract an addict's attention. And it was a brilliant thing. And I still haven't decided if it's serious. There may be people that are really serious about this. I guess I should do a search on it. I think most of the videos and information that will come up will be people saying, it's a hoax, folks. Don't fall for it. But you'd think with the amount of sugar in our food supply that it was already an established fact. And in many doctors' minds, they're extremely convinced that if you had to eat sugar or you had to eat fat, by God, sugar is the healthier alternative. Ask your own doctor. And that's what's scary. So that's what I think of the sugar diet. Am I going to go on the sugar diet? I would love to. I would love to. Unfortunately, it wouldn't love me, I'm afraid. It would not love me. Oh, yes. Rick Rick sent me an email. Upcoming Sunday. Yes, not this Sunday, Rick. Next Sunday. I got you down. Wow. Booked out. How about that? I'm going to need to get a secretary to keep track of all this. Wow, I've got up to 8:45. I'm about 20 minutes behind. Not bad. Thank you for the question, John. The sugar diet is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. I did watch yesterday a video from Nick Norwitz about carb cycling. I like Nick, but and he does well, and he's a smart kid. And I call him a kid because he's a kid, but brilliant kid. He's got a PhD in, I think, biochemistry or physiology. He got his MD from Harvard Medical, although I don't give a shit about Harvard. I don't like Harvard. I think Harvard is... Oh, let's not go there. I don't have no respect for Harvard or the shit that comes out of it. But I'm sure the medical school teaches doctors, like every other medical school, and Rick is smart enough to know that whatever he heard about nutrition is bullshit. But he did this video about carb cycling. Very complicated. God, my God, who can remember all that stuff? Why do we keep trying to complicate this stuff in our quest to be healthy? The cavemen didn't do it. They ate their meat. That was it. That's what they had. We keep coming up with all these things that you need. The friggin' team of secretaries and accountants to keep up with. You need a support staff if you're going to follow some of these different regimens, man. Do this, do that, do this time of the day, do it that time of the day. This might work, that might work, the other thing might work. Which one of us lives long enough to experiment with all this shit and find out what works and how do we know if it's working or not? Well, we got to get tested. And he talked about testing. So what do? Take up residence in a laboratory? Wire myself up to machines? It's not our job to micromanage this, which is why I love the simplicity of the carnivore diet. There may be a little something to some of this. I'm sure there is. There's always studies that show this, and then for every study that shows this, there's a study that shows that. The exact opposite of this. Why do we continually want to overcomplicate this shit? He says, well, there's three different main categories of carb. You can carb cycle daily, you can carb cycle like monthly, or you can carb cycle seasonally. And he puts up these charts. That means for 3 months of the year, you eat a high carb diet. The premise from this is that it makes you flexible. Flex. Many people have talked about flex. Your body has to be able to switch easily and be used to burning or metabolizing both forms of energy, sugar and fat. Then, not to mention, the body makes sugar. All these things interact, and they're basically, when you multiply the number of possibilities in timing in the food, there are thousands, if not millions, of different diet patterns that emerge. How do you know which one is right? We have no studies. We have no tests. Most of the studies and tests are flawed anyway. Keep it simple. Every time I watch one of those videos, I get 3/4 of the way through it and I yell, "You're out of your mind." Yeah, I'm good. Maybe you're a Harvard PhD or whatever, but the average person isn't. And all this will do, this and the videos about the different supplements, and you got to take this, you got to take that. All that does is just add to the confusion of the average guy. And I'm afraid that those kind of things have each of us thinking every day, wow, I finally discovered magic pill, creatine. I'm not taking creatine. If it's in the food I eat, fine. Do you know how many comments I have gotten in the past month? You should be taking creatine. Here's a link to a video about creatine. Creatine does this, that. I don't care. I don't want another pill to take. I take my 2 baby aspirin a day. That's it. That's it. And once in a while, I stopped taking. I was taking vitamin D and K2 until somebody told me K2 is a coagulant. So I started researching it. Well, it's a coagulant in this case, but not a coagulant in that case. In this case, it might coagulate your blood, but in that case, it might not. In this other case, it might. I don't know what the hell to think. All I know is once these ideas are planted in our mind like a little bug, you can't shake them. And having had a stroke, an ischemic stroke, the thought of anything that will make my blood thicker, I think, is of concern, because I haven't yet determined what, nor will I ever, what caused that stroke. And how beneficial are all these things that we're supposed to think about that go beyond just eating the healthiest food we can? All of these things, these magical things, are probably contained in an egg, kind of like a catch-all. So just eat it, 5 or 6 eggs a day. It's like a nature's multivitamin. How many people have I heard? How many of you take a multivitamin every day? One a day silver for us seniors. Because you say, I'm just covering all my bases. And then another group comes in and says, those multivitamin pills are nothing but crap. There's things in there that are more harmful than they are good. So what bases are you covering? You want to make sure you get your adequate amount of poison? You don't know. I don't take them. You have to decide, can I hurt myself more by taking this? Or can I limit the amount of stuff I put in my body that has the potential to hurt me by not taking it? And that's the way I lean. That's the way I lean. So I take my little 2 low-dose aspirins to thin my blood out, hopefully lessen the chance of another stroke, because I don't want that. I eat the foods and finally got off the carbs and back to the foods that I know did not cause a stroke, or the likelihood that they didn't cause a stroke. But I think that that's the reason I'm recovering so fast. Question, is your carnivore ice cream experiment over, or will you continue to have one from time to time? Good question, Peter. I'm done. I'm addicted. It's like an alcoholic. Great comparison. Only not nearly as bad, but how many alcoholics decide, I'm just going to I can handle a little alcohol. I know I can. I've been sober for 10 years. Surely alcohol has lost its draw on me and its power over me. I'm going to make sure that I have no more than 1 drink a day. That lasts 2 days, and they're drinking a bottle or 2 a day again, and then they have to start all over. And it might take months or years for them to get sober again. And many people still don't wake up to the reality that once an addict, always an addict, and an addict can only abstain. Abstain, period. You're not an addict. Anything goes. How many people in their own mind don't think they're addicts? But they are. Just ask them. I can give that up anytime I want. Well, why don't you give it up? I don't want to. Yeah, okay. I had an ex-wife like that, a bottle or two of wine every day. I'm not an alcoholic. You can't be an alcoholic when you drink wine. Well, what about the hard liquor you drink too? As evidenced by every liquor that we had in the house, the bottle was empty. Couldn't convince her. Couldn't convince her. Oh, here we go. Barbara JS is going to give us some insight on the sugar diet. I was on a sugar diet for 4 to 5 days. I broke out of my face. It might work, but dangerous for your body down the road. Watch Dr. J. Feldman. Okay. Yeah, I agree. The sugar diet. I want to find out more about it. I really haven't given it any serious thought. I thought it was just a prank. And if it was a prank, it was a good one. Maybe the vegan diet started out as a prank. Because I think it's made for you as a sugar diet, but somehow it caught on, which means that the old sugar diet, maybe starting out as a prank, may end up being a thing with a huge following, and that's what we're going to see on YouTube. People stuffing their face with apple pie and ice cream. Tanya says, say hi to your daughter. Okay, I'll tell her that. Thank you. Thank you. Jemmett says, hi, it's me, Julie. I didn't know that, Gemma. In the back of my mind, I think maybe I heard it, but I don't know. Julie. Julie, I'll try to remember. I'm not a he. Yeah, you're certainly not. Unless you're a boy named Julie. Julie. That's great to know. That's great to know. All right, everybody remind me if I forget when Gemma comes up to say hi, Julie. Julie, Julie, Julie. Takes me a while. As you can see, I remember so many names, but okay, I got it. I got it. Regular says, when I do guilty ice cream, pint, heavy cream, egg yolks, homemade vanilla. Yeah, it's great, Mike. You're not a raging carb addict, obviously. I can't do that. I tried, but I can't do that. Jackie W, how you doing, Jackie? Oh, I've missed you all so much. Hello, Mitch Fitz. Hey, Jackie, we missed you too. Good to see you again. And everybody saying hi. Charles Faircloth says good morning. And everybody's Miss Jackie. Everybody's talking to Jackie. She's had a little surgery. Hope it all came out well. I won't get into what surgery. You can read the chat. Ah, see, I don't see. Looking for questions, but I don't see any. So I'm just reading the chat. 852 in the chat. Love Dave Mack says, Sandy. Yeah, Beach, and then hello. How you doing? All right, Aaron's going to be on with Dr. Nelson. He found me some afternoon live in July. So you've had the Calendly experience as well, I guess. Well, it can get so complicated. I try, honest to God, I try to live by the adage, keep it simple, stupid. But in this society of ours, it's not, with everything computerized and everybody with cell phones, it's not easy to keep it simple anymore. Questions? Terry, she says, Kilts is typical doctor time. Gotta wait 3 months for an appointment. Oh, that's priceless, Terry. I love that. That's true. That's true. You're lucky to get an appointment in 3 months with a doctor. When you finally see the doctor, and you've waited 4 months to get face to face with him or get him on the phone, the first thing you should do to the doctor to point out the absurdity of the entirety of the medical system is say, Doc, I'm so glad that I finally got to see you. The last 4 months of my life waiting for this appointment were a nightmare of worry and sleepless nights, high anxiety, pacing the floor with the burning question that I had to wait 4 months to get the answer to, Doc. And he says, I'm sorry. What was the question? And you look at him and you say, the guy on TV told me to ask my doctor if Jardiance is right for me. And then get up and walk out on the asshole, because how the hell can you have a doctor that can't see you until 4 months has gone by? The absurdity of this. Every time I hear those drug ads, ask your doctor, tell your doctor if this happens. Tell your doctor if you experience that. You can't tell your doctor anything. You got to wait 4 months before the guy can even acknowledge your presence. It's crazy. It's crazy. I would do that to these doctors. The more we can point out the absurdity of their entire system, the more likely it is that maybe one of them somewhere, someday, will actually get the message. They worry more about the appointment to get their Porsches oil changed than they do about the one that might save your life. Sorry. Do I dislike most doctors? What do you think? What do you think? That's why doctors don't like me, because I'm not shy about pointing out the flaws and the dangers of how they practice medicine. The problem is some of them are good, and some of them will prescribe a drug that you may need. But we're getting so jaded about them, we're likely not to take of it. There are times, for example, when a statin drug may actually do somebody some good because of a rare set of symptoms. But if that person is a member of our community, they will fight that unless the doctor can give them a very convincing explanation. That's what I tried to get from them when they all said, well, we want you on a statin, Mitch, when I had the stroke, because statins have been shown that they may, in some cases, reduce the risks of having a second stroke. And I said, foul on the play, Doc. Let me ask you. Number one, you said they may show. I think, what about the cases where they may not show? And where did they show this? Can you cite the study so that I can read it and find out that it was probably funded by a drug company wanting to sell statins in a university that they control, like Tufts or Harvard, the same university that puts out studies that say eating red meat causes diabetes. Where did you find out about this? Is this your own personal experience? Do you have enough patients who had strokes to actually keep your own count of those that took the statins had fewer secondaries? No. You spout this stuff out like it's fact. If you can't guide me to the source of this, I can't take it seriously. Anybody can claim anything. For example, Doc, you heard of the sugar diet? You got to have that mindset constantly because it happens to you all the time. Everybody knows, well, sorry, Doc, I'm a person, but I don't know. So you can't say that. You can't say everybody knows that red meat causes lung cancer. You can't say that. Everybody doesn't know that. I can point you to thousands of people who don't believe that. So stop saying everybody knows. Stop saying this might possibly, this may. That doesn't prove anything. But prove something is a real randomized control trial with a big cohort over a long period of time that's done by an honest organization, has no conflicts of interest in the people funding it. And forget what subject. These days, go find me any study that qualifies. I only know of one. That's Dave Feldman's study on lean mass hyperresponders, which has no ulterior motives, no conflicts of interest, funded by crowdfunding. For those of us who want to know and get a little more certainty that no, this high cholesterol or not even cholesterol. I hate that. God, why do I do that? I fall into the same trap. This high LDL number I have is not killing me. It didn't cause my stroke. Because of these new studies, we're learning more and more. We got to stop calling it cholesterol. LDL, not cholesterol. Not. It is a transport vehicle that can carry cholesterol. We need these things. They're part of the immune system. They carry cholesterol to the sites of inflammation and injury to help repair them. They also carry all the fat-soluble vitamins. They also carry the energy that we fat burners need. And when we're not burning sugar, we need a lot more energy. So we have to have a lot more LDL in our blood. Without it, we wouldn't get the energy we need. We're not sugar burners. We are eating no sugar. That's Dave Feldman and group called the lipid energy model. It's proving to be true. So wake up, modern medicine. Take a look at these things. Consider them. Start doing your own. Oh, wait, they're not going to do their own testing. Because the only thing that happens when somebody gets healthy is they stop spending money on medical bills. We can't have that, can we? Why would we want them? Why do the hospital corporations and the doctors and all that, why would we want people to stop getting sick? Why do car dealers want, why would they want a car that never needs maintenance, that lasts forever? Hell no. Planned obsolescence. That's great and all right for cars, but God, they're planning the obsolescence of your life and health for their profit. Yeah, I think you have to look at everything these days through that filter. All right. It's been a long weekend and I needed to, I guess, rant a little bit against it. Rage against the machine, as they say. CB Carmack is here. How you doing, CB? Good to see you. Saw you go. There you are. Got thrown over there earlier time. You like it? Oh, good. I like it better too. I like it better too. Sorry, 9:30 now, and it still seems more like morning. When it got to be 10:30, 11, it seemed like the day was half gone already. Rick likes the 8:30. Super, super. I'm at 9 o'clock. Now I'm a full half hour behind, right where I usually am. Robbie Autry's here. Hi, Robbie. How you doing? And Gemmet is Julie. Gemmet is Julie. Hi, Julie. Julie. Not Julia, but Julie. Got it. Hope it's cemented in my mind. Meatitudes is here. How you doing? Made it. Not a lot of questions, but I got to start getting. I got to start getting through it because it's been an hour now. Julie says sad diet equals a sugar diet, and so much more. And so much more. Is there seed oils in a sad diet? I really have to start watching that stuff, although I can't keep a straight face when I do. I see Julie has another question. Mitch, why are the cholesterol numbers the same as has been for years and years, no matter what your age? It needs to be revisited. You talking about my cholesterol or normally? Cholesterol goes up and down like crazy depending on your diet. You start eating more carbs, your cholesterol, not your cholesterol, your LDL. Stop. I got to stop doing that. I got to stop using the word cholesterol when I'm talking about LDL. It is not the same thing. I'm so brainwashed and preconditioned to call it cholesterol because everybody else does. It's not cholesterol. It's not cholesterol. LDL are proteins that act as water-soluble boats to carry fat-soluble stuff through the bloodstream, including triglycerides. When you get your triglycerides measured, when you have a blood test, they don't measure triglycerides. They measure the weight of what they call VLDL, which is a very low-density lipoprotein, a big, huge, fat, fluffy one that's carrying triglycerides. They know that when that lipoprotein leaves the terminal every morning, which is the liver, it's full of triglycerides, which the body uses for energy. And those triglycerides make up the brunt of its cargo. So when they weigh the VLDL proteins, they approximate the weight of the triglycerides in them. It's a calculated number. When the little protein boats get done delivering all these triglycerides to all the cells, they shrink. And from very low density proteins, they become low density proteins. That's LDL. By this time, their main job has been shifted from delivering energy to a bunch of other tasks, like delivering fat-soluble vitamins like vitamin A, vitamin B, vitamin E, delivering cholesterol where it's needed, either to make hormones or for repair of inflamed arteries or whatever. But they're not cholesterol. Cholesterol is merely one of the things that are carried in these little boats, submarines, or call them what you want. I still keep calling it cholesterol because every time I said LDL, everybody'd be confused. I'm confused. It just comes out automatically. So we got to keep that in mind about what these things are and what they do. They can be harmful. They can contribute to heart disease. They can, but they can only when they're damaged. And what damages them? Sugar and seed oil. So all the hoorah about cholesterol, LDL, HDL, VLDL, all the triglycerides, all the hoorah about that stuff being harmful relies on these things getting damaged by inflammation and sugar. It seems to me, logically, that to do everything you can to minimize inflammation would be the best way to counter heart disease and keep your LDL from becoming SDLDL, small damaged LDL, because of glycation from the sugar and oxidation from things like seed oils. Most important blood tests for that arena, something called an HSCRP, high sensitivity C-reactive protein, an inflammation marker. Check it out. If you're not eating sugar, you shouldn't have to worry about insulin and diabetes and all that stuff, because the fact that you're not eating sugar at all keeps that under control. So, getting back to keeping it simple, the best advice you can give somebody, whether they can do it or not, whether their addiction will let them do it or not, is quit sugar, quit seed oils, eat meat, eggs, beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, fish, chicken, and don't eat anything else. You're not eating a damn thing that's inflammatory. And without the inflammation, and without the addition of these poisons of sugar and seed oils that we put in our body, and when I say sugar, I mean grains too, because grains are sugars, vegetables are sugars, plants are sugars. Got to eat animals. Eat what you are. Oh, God. I could keep saying that over and over all day long, and still nobody hears the message. We know that. We know that. We might be, that's 125 people here. Might be, except for the probably 1 or 2, 3, maybe trolls that are watching me to find fault. We may be the smartest people on the planet, smarter than most doctors, actually. But they'll never admit it. Stevie Philip Obadi realized he made a mistake healing people pushing carnivore, so he's really the inventor of the sugar diet. A joke. Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's a joke. But you be careful what you say. You put that out there. People read the first half of the sentence and not the last word, and the next thing you know, it'll be a rumor. And poor Phil is going to have to defend it. Hey, Mark, how you doing? Mark, how you feeling? Hope you're feeling better, sir. Good to see you got here this morning. Okay, I need to start skipping down real quick, looking for questions, because Sandy Bly says, "Preach it, Mitch." Yeah, maybe I missed my calling. You get me up behind the pulpit. I would have made a great evangelist. is interesting, and I don't want to create a big debate here. Mike Pergola says, I believe we did evolve as omnivores. Yeah, no. Well, I think that the most important thing is not to say we're omnivores, but we may not be obligate carnivores, which means eating nothing but meat, like a lion, for example. You don't see a lion munching on fruit or plants or veggies. We're not obligate, but we are, at least we should eat more, I say 70% or more of our diet from meat. And because we've always relied on the plant material for survival when the meat was scarce. Okay? I think based on that, yes, vegetables are okay for humans, but I still think they have detrimental effects. The plants still have poisons in them because plants are trying to kill you. We had to eat them or else the species would die. So in that respect, okay, humans can eat plants. Should they? If they don't have to, that's up for debate. Is there anything in those plants that the human animal can't live without? The answer is no. So I keep hearing this argument all the time. And you know who makes that argument, Michael? Someone who is not that bad of a carb addict. It's easy for you. And the same trend keeps coming up. The only people you hear saying you can have one drink a day and it won't hurt you are not alcoholics. And that's the difference. So the thrust of my channel is basically for people that can't help themselves, like me, and are carb addicts. I'm not saying everybody should be a carnivore, and I think you agree with me. Everybody could be a carnivore, and they'd be healthy. But they don't have to, and they can indulge these other things. They give a little dopamine hit without setting them on a binge and killing them. So the most important thing about anybody's message is to know who they're talking to. And I'm talking to carb addicts. And if you're not a carb addict, that's great news. I envy you. I envy you. But your advice doesn't work for carb addicts. Just like a non-alcoholic's advice doesn't work for alcoholics. So, okay, Michael. I respect you. You're a great guy. You're in great shape. You work out. You do everything right, but you're not a flaming carb addict. Don't tell carb addicts that they can do what you do. We can't. And I say that with all due respect. All due respect. Meatitudes. Question, Mitch, 10 months carnivore and still not fat adapted. Any tips? It's impossible. Impossible not to be fat adapted. That would take a lot of looking into. But if you're not eating any sugar, your body has to run on fat. What the hell else is it running on? I don't get it. So I would need to know an awful lot more about what you eat, how you practice carnivore, and what you think you need to see to convince you that you're burning fat and not sugar. But if you don't eat sugar, your body's not going to make enough sugar with gluconeogenesis to make you a sugar burner. I don't think. Maybe in some rare cases, but there's a lot more to that question than meets the eye, I would think. Sharon McCabe says, question, is it true that labs are compared to the people in your immediate area and that's what they judge our labs? Well, you're talking about the ranges of what they consider low, normal, and high. I think they're usually made depending on the size of the lab, not from a geographical standpoint, but just from an average. So as people get sicker and sicker, what they consider normal is sicker and sicker. That's why Ken Berry, when he wrote his book, made a big deal out of this very point. And he said, they have normal ranges and they have optimal numbers. In his book, Common Sense Labs, he gives you the optimal number because, and he tells you the normal number is just an average of all of them. They use a bell curve. And that bell curve changes as people get sicker and sicker. Okay, and yes, Mitch is like, our medicine. Well, tune in every morning and take your medicine, folks. And this is true. Ernie Earnhardt says addicts are in denial. Of course they are. Of course they are. Everybody who has ever studied organizations like Alcoholics Anonymous or drug users organizations, and there are a couple of meager attempts at food addiction, which is not food addiction, it's carb addiction. Nobody's addicted to food. The human race is, if you're addicted to food, then you can say you're addicted to air and water. These are the basics of life. You can't live without them. You don't need alcohol and heroin, but you do need food. It's the carbohydrates that are addictive because we can live without them and not be addicted. We don't have cravings. We don't jones for ribeye. We get hungry, we eat. Carbs are a drug. Ribeyes are not a drug. Drugs elicit dopamine response. So, what was the question? Addicts are in denial. Yeah, I was talking about that. So, yes, the organizations like Alcoholics Anonymous will tell you in their literature and in their promotional materials that until an addict comes right out and stops denying their problem, they can't be helped. They can't be helped. That's why in Alcoholics Anonymous, the first thing they do when they speak, you all know it. You've seen it in a million movies. And if you're an alcoholic, you've been to a meeting. Hi, I'm Mitch, and I'm a carboholic. That's the key. Without that admission, without the lack of the delusion, you're never going to help yourself. And many times, the depths that we have to fall to finally accept the fact that we are an addict because our subconscious mind controlling the addiction is shooting propaganda at us every minute of the day so that we don't think we're alcoholics or carboholics. Without that, you can't help anything. With us, that point is usually some kind of weight limit or health. In other words, if somebody first gets the word that they have an A1C of 11, that's a shocker. When somebody gets on a scale and the scale says to you, I'm sorry, this scale doesn't handle weights that high. Go to the meat market down the street and weigh yourself on their scale. That's when the person says, all right, enough is enough. For me, that number was 210 pounds in my life. Never went over it. When I got to 210 pounds, I looked at that big belly in the mirror. That shocked me into yet another diet. Some of them worked, most of them didn't. But that led me to where I am today. So yeah, most addicts are in denial. That's part of what it means to be an addict. Good point. Lorraine McDermott, hi. Lorraine, how you doing? Question, I came across your homemade electrolytes video last night. Are you still using it? I am, Lorraine, and I'm down to maybe 2 weeks worth left, and I got to make another batch. So I just looked to make sure I still have enough of everything to make it, and I do. But yeah, I use it every day, and it seems to work, because if I don't take it for 3-4 days, I start getting cramps in my legs at night. So I think I'm doing okay. I've been using it for quite a while. Make 100 doses at a time. That's enough for about three months plus. Of course, I didn't take any while I had my stroke, so I got a couple of months. I got a month off. Question, hey Mitch, where's your favorite place to live if you had a choice? Well, it's hard to say. I've been all over. I've been everywhere. Everywhere nice you go to, you go, wow, I'd like to live here. My retirement plans called for a multi-million-dollar mansion on the ocean front with a huge dock and a big yacht. I was well on the way to that until disaster hit, but I think as long as you're not living in a dangerous area where you can't leave the house. Did I just hear somebody knock on my door? No, hang on a minute. Take a look. There's somebody at my door. Wow. Could have been a refrigerator creaking, but I can't. I'm expecting a delivery from Sam's Club this morning. I ordered. Nope, nobody at my door. I ordered 2 big things of chicken thighs. I'll reiterate, chicken thighs are the best. $8 or something for 7 pounds of them. So I got 2 flats of those coming, some Wright's bacon coming, and 3 dozen of the pasture-raised eggs going to be delivered to me. I told them to deliver between 12 and 2, so they wouldn't come while I was doing a live stream. I like that. I use that delivery service a lot these days. I'm looking forward to the time, and I'm walking a little better. This morning, I walked more and further with no walker than I have ever since the stroke. I just felt really good this morning, and my balance was really good, and I stretched the limits. Now, as I get tired, because I do get tired, I have to be careful. Lewis says, I nominate Mitch for the Kilt Zoom meeting. Sorry, I didn't know. Oh, thank you, Lewis. I like getting together with them, and it doesn't matter. September is fine. I'll still be here. Speaking optimistically. Wow, Claudia says, my family doctor canceled my girl's appointment because they were sick with a cold. Wow, great. Oh, this doctor's office are canceling your appointment because you're sick. Thanks a lot. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, Gemma. I finally learned her name is Julie, and she wants to be called Gem. Gem. All right, I'll try to remember that. Between Gem and Julia, I hope I'll get one of them. Give me a few days. Yeah, Barbara says you can put a call into your doctor. Yeah, call. Yeah. My doctor, my primary is a VA. In order for me to actually talk to my doctor, I have 2 ways. I can call on the phone, or I can. I have a way to communicate. Send her an email. That doesn't get to the doctor or the nurse practitioner. It gets to the receptionist in that department. The receptionist then forwards it to the person. In a couple of days, they will respond to it and tell that person to contact me and tell me to do 1 or 2 things. Either make an appointment to see them, or we'll schedule a phone call. And they do that. They schedule phone calls. which would be maybe another week. So the quickest I could probably get a conversation with my doctor, who is not even a doctor, just a nurse practitioner at the VA, the soonest I can ever get would maybe be a week, unless I hung out in the parking lot where she parked her car and accosted her on the way out. That is not acceptable. Not acceptable. But it is accepted because it's just the way it is. And it's not getting better because we are getting sicker and sicker. More and more people feel like they're in the need of medical services, and they can't build the hospitals. Just look. Everywhere you look, new nursing homes, new hospitals, this expansion, that expansion. Why? Is our population growing that fast? No, it's not. Common sense. Common sense. Okay, I am really still a half hour behind. All right. I'm gonna have to call it here. I already talked about this, Michael. Particle size does makes all the difference. It is. It's the magic bullet. And B wants me to keep on ranting on her behalf. I'll do it. I'll do it. I wish I had a much bigger audience for these rants. By the time this is done, maybe 1,000 people have watched this. Most of them didn't watch the whole thing. Because a view is a view, even if somebody just clicks on it and clicks away. So in reality, painfully too few people are having conversations like this. I can't do anything about that. The powers that be don't want people listening to these conversations. And as we used to say in Philadelphia when I was growing up, my father used to say, I never knew what it meant until I got a little older. You can't fight City Hall. You heard that. You understand what it means. You can't win with crooked judges and politicians. And they're all crooked, most of them. If you ask questions today and I didn't get to them, here's a question from Meatitudes. I have trouble digesting fats, especially from brisket and chuck roast, suffering with lifelong celiac disease. Yeah, I can see that. If you have trouble digesting fats, it's probably not enough bile. Bile is what we use. It's like dishwashing detergent. It emulsifies fats. And of course, you probably know that. You know that maybe you have something wrong there. Let me take a quick look here. I'm at 9:51. All right, we're getting there. We're getting there. Question from Terry Sue: have you done a chuck eye steak in the midst? No, haven't. I haven't done a chuck eye yet. I don't see them. You don't see them at Sam's like in a package. In order to get the chuck eyes, you pretty well have to buy the whole primal chuck, and then you get maybe 2 or 3 of the chuck eyes out of it, along with all the hamburger and all the other cuts of chuck. So I haven't been that ambitious yet, especially now that my knife skills I'm lucky. I'm getting to the point now where I can maybe eat a steak and cut it up and eat it without picking the whole thing up and eating it like a big Roman feast or something. Claudius, I mentioned my review the other day, and even the kiddos enjoyed it. Great. Glad to see that. We ought to be nearing the end of the chat here. Back to that question about the fat. I don't know. Have them check your gallbladder out. But if you have celiacs, that's totally, I think, unrelated to to fat digestion, because celiac is a reaction to the gluten proteins. So who knows? But it may be with celiac that, it breaks the tight junctions of the linings of your gut and allows a lot of stuff to get into your bloodstream. Maybe some of that got in, affected your gallbladder. Hard to say. If I was a doctor, there's some certain tests I might order, but I can't tell you what they are because I'm not a doctor, and I don't give that kind of advice if I can help it. Me Too says Chuck eyes are her favorite cut of meat. And I'm down at the bottom of the chat. That's great. Dixie Scott, I haven't said hi to you yet today. So now you're all talking about butcher shop and everything else. And I think, guys, that I can leave it at that for the day. It's been great. We were running around 130, 135 people. So it's probably the average stream. Glad you all came. I'll be back tomorrow morning, 8:30, and 10 o'clock now. That's enough. Play a little happy music. Take a few minutes. In case you hadn't noticed, I'm wearing my Gruber and Chips hat. That was my restaurant. I don't have much left from that restaurant. I have some kitchen supplies and utensils. Some of these hats that I never wore. But I should walk down memory lane. So that is a logo that I designed, and we had a big sign out in front of the restaurant. I had a car, a Gruber car. I know I've showed that to you. I'll show it to you again sometime. With a wrap on it that had a big Gruber sandwich on the side. And the economy crashed. Story of my life. Anyway, everybody say goodbye. Brian Dish says goodbye. Booby Goat says bye, everyone. Mike Sealy, have a good day. See you tomorrow morning. Terry Sue said goodbye. And Lori and Rick. Tanya, thank you, Mitch. Needed to's great session today. Thank you. I'm glad you all liked it. Been my pleasure. Jim says goodbye. I got it. I'll remember it. Terry Sue, bye everyone. Have a great day. I'm going out to ground right now, barefoot in the sun. Good for you. And here comes the end of the song. Yes. And with that, my friends, I had a ball. Thank you. That hour and a half went by so fast, I don't know what happened. But I always feel better after these streams than I felt before them. Love to visit with my friends. Hope we can do it again tomorrow. And with that, we'll see you tomorrow morning, 8:30, right here. And until then, take the rest of the day off and eat meat.